Ernie was headed to Costco for dog medicine when an oncoming driver ran a red arrow and turned in front of Ernie as he proceeded through a green light. The T-bone impact rolled Ernie's Toyota 4Runner completely over before it ended up back on its wheels. With his doors stuck and windshield shattered, he ended up climbing out through the rear hatch with the help of a bystander. Ernie filed an insurance claim with his dashcam footage as evidence after responding police officers retrieved his dashcam for him. The other driver's insurance provider accepted liability and cut him a check for $40,000 US. Obviously, his 4Runner was totaled, but he used the insurance settlement to replace it with a new one in the same color, along with an improved dashcam with both front and rear angles. Unsurprisingly, the cops told Ernie that the other driver had claimed Ernie had run a red light, and his dashcam footage made all the difference. If you need a dashcam, we put a link to our recommendation in the description. Shia was driving down a ramp leading from one highway to another. Suddenly, he encountered a wrong-way driver coming straight toward him. Shia swerved into the other lane without having time to see if it was clear. He called 911 but couldn't stop because he had a car full of passengers. Today's submitter was following a tractor which had slowed traffic from 55 to 25 miles per hour. The driver of an SUV in line behind him didn't like that and decided to floor it past everybody, ignoring the double yellow lines. He also ignored the turn signal of a pickup truck that was turning left, which clipped the SUV and sent it tumbling down the road. Our submitter stopped to render aid, but he told us there were no obvious injuries. When first responders arrived, he gave a statement to the police. I'm not sure where the SUV driver was headed so quickly, but I'm guessing they arrived later than they would have if they'd been a little more patient. Adam was headed to Taco Bell after playing volleyball with friends. While waiting at a red light in his Ford Fusion, a Mustang pulled up next to him and the driver asked him if he wanted to race.
Not really.
When the light turned green, the Mustang driver peeled out anyway. Unfortunately for him, he hadn't noticed the police SUV in the oncoming lanes. The cop sure noticed him, and they quickly made a U-turn and took off after the speeding steed to serve the driver with some instant justice. Marco didn't stand a chance against a Honda Pilot. When Marco proceeded legally through a yellow light, the driver of a Honda Pilot turned across his lane, failing to yield to oncoming traffic with the right-of-way. Marco told us the other driver claimed to have a green light, but the dashcam footage reveals that isn't possible. Either their turn arrow was still yellow, or it had turned red, just like the light facing Marco's direction. Regardless, it couldn't have been green while Marco's light was still yellow. He's now fighting to have his repair and medical bills paid for by the other driver's insurance provider. Simon was on his way home from work when he drifted too close to the edge of the road while rounding a bend. When he yanked the steering wheel to the left, he overcorrected and lost control. After crossing the oncoming lane, Simon's Ford Explorer slammed into a tree before stopping. After climbing out of the SUV, Simon was checked out by bystanders and first responders. Thankfully, he only sustained minor injuries. The impact with the tree totaled Simon's Explorer. His insurance provider paid him enough to replace it with a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but he still misses his Ford. He told us he never thought he'd be sending in his own video, and he offered his condolences to those injured in collisions. Simon says, "Be safe out there, everyone. You never know what might happen."